Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm really honored to stand in front of you. Thank you very much, Dr. Uthman, and thank you, Farhan, for this big and beautiful start with the audience. I'm really pleased to see the audience here, and thank you for spending time today to come, because time, as we all know, is one of the important and valuable resources we have. Let me begin by saying something very important and simple. Communication is not only a skill, it's a life tool. Whether you are a student, whether you are a professional, a leader, an entrepreneur, or someone simply trying to grow, to develop his or her skills, your ability to communicate, shaping your opportunities, your relationships, ultimately, it is your success. This event hopefully promises that confidence that speaks and also connection that lasts. True communication is only one word. It's impact. Today, we are here to talk about how success is achieved. But I don't have magic trick. I just have some little advices for you from my own experience. So we're gonna focus on two themes. One is productivity, and the other thing is communication. They work together, not separately. So some of you might ask, who is this guy? And where am I coming from? So simply, as Farhan says, my name is Abdulrahman Alshabeb. I work as a professor in Imam University and as a consultant at the Council of University Affairs, which used to be Higher Education Ministry. So I'm not going to talk about myself, but I can assure you that I have worked through many things in my life. I worked with students, professionals, leaders, policymakers, and professionals across private and governmental sector. But there is one recurring pattern that I have observed in my life. Success is rarely determined by intelligence alone. Success is rarely determined by intelligence alone. We have a saying in Najdi accent or Najdi dialect that لو النجاح أو التجارة بالعقول ما أفلحنا. So it's not about intelligence, especially these days. We have to work hard by obtaining great skills throughout our studies, our work, and so on. A little help, maybe? Okay, let me try the oldest way. Okay. So, okay, thank you. So, let's ask ourselves, what is this? And look in the bigger picture of our life. Success doesn't happen in isolation. It happens within what I like to call the wheel of life. This wheel represents balance. So life is not one dimension. It is a system. Your values, your self-awareness, your relationships, your skills, and so on. So when one part of the wheel is weak, probably the entire wheel becomes unstable. So believe me, Life is a mixture of all these wheels. Communication is what connects these parts and keeps the wheel moving smoothly. Pillars of successful communication. If the wheel represents life, then communication stands on three essential pillars. One thing is faith and values. We all have a religion, and as Muslim, we should always realize that, let's say, luck or tawfiq relies on what God bestows in us. So always think about praying to God every day. Some people think that working hard is, the lead to success, but it's not always. There is a stanza, one of the poets says, إِذَا لَمْ يَكُنْ مِنَ اللَّهِ عَوْنٌ لِلْفَتَى فَأَوَّلُ مَا يَجْنِي عَلَيْهِ اجْتِهَادُ. So it is no luck bestowed by God, so the first thing to blame is your hard work. So communication without values, without faith, maybe it's ineffective, but it's never sustainable. The second thing is, before communicating with others, you must understand yourself. Understand your emotion, understand your reaction, understand your strength, your weakness, and know that self-awareness communicators adjust their tone, their timing, and their message. The third thing is communication is relational. Understanding people, their needs, their fears, their expectation, turns communication into connection. Without this pillar, communication becomes one-directional and ineffective. Productivity success equation in this era in our life. Let's move from foundation of life to what we call results. Success can be expressed as a simple but powerful equation. Success equals skills, network, opportunities. So let's break this down. Skills are what you can do. This includes technical skills, soft skills, and so on. Networking are who knows you. So that's why we have LinkedIn and we have social application to connect and expose ourselves to others, to let people know who are we. And trust is built through communication. The third success equation is opportunities. Opportunities appear then when skills and skills meet preparations, network meet timing. So the bottom line is develop your skills, build your network in order to get ready for the opportunities so you can catch it. So communication is the bridge to connect all three. Skills, soft skills, and hard skills nowadays. For a long time ago, we believed that we are taught that GPA or high GPA is success, but not anymore. For many years, that was largely true. A strong GPA in our bachelor degree, yes, was acted as a passport for jobs, a signal of discipline, but today the world has changed. Not because GPA has become useless, no, it's not true, but because it has become insufficient on its own. Because labor market, we have human capability development, and we all know that COVID-19 has changed the world. So let's be honest. GPA mainly measure your ability to memorize, to to study, to perform under exam condition and so on, but it doesn't tell HR people that you know how to communicate with others. You work under pressure. So it's important to realize that soft skills and hard skills are very important these days. Workplace is built on how you handle pressure, how to adapt to change, how you solve real world problems. So, because Ramadan is nearby, and I urge you to read Quran because it has lots and lots of examples. When we talk about soft skills, we often describe them as modern requirements. Communication, empathy, patience, adaptability, emotional intelligence. But the truth is, these skills are not new at all. We have some of the great examples of soft skills in the Quran, and we read Quran every day, especially in Ramadan. But you have to read it every day, not in Ramadan only. So, long before they become management theories and they become leadership frameworks, the Quran doesn't only teach belief, it teaches how to deal with people. So success nowadays is one of the most overused words and one of the most least defined. In my view, success is not a title, is not a salary, or a position. Success is the ability to move from where you are to where you want to be in the future. Success has many variables. Success in your life, success in your health, success in your family, success in your relationships with others, especially with your parents and first relationship in your family. So research shows us very important idea. A famous study by Carnegie Foundation analyzes records of 10,000 individuals, concluded something powerful. The majority of success comes from personal qualities and communication skills, not technical knowledge alone. This is why soft skills are no longer optional. They are essential. So, can anyone tell me what does this picture portrays for you? What does it mean? So, what is the reason or the theme behind this picture? Anyone?
Moving a bigger goal.
Exactly. That's one thing, one analysis. Any other? Yes? Again? Exactly. So Dr. Uthman Mani'i and our friend Farhan says that we have to move from our comfort zone and jump to the real life. Sometimes we are fear to move from our comfort zone, and this is real. And we have friends pulling us to, relax and enjoy our daily lives, but at the end, people are developing and succeeding, and you are keeping the same pitch in your life that you don't move. So if you have or you are living in a comfort zone, please think and restructure your life and yourself. So what is more important? Do you think skills, passion, or knowledge? Why? That's a good answer. But why? Okay, who agree or disagree with the lady here? So what's more important? Passion. Okay, that's good. What else? Both of them. Where I believe it's a mixture. If you have passion, you will look for your future. But you cannot have passion without work by obtaining skills. And you cannot obtain skills without knowledge. So they all work together. So you must have knowledge, passion, and skills. So there is a beautiful study by Albert Mehrbein, who is one of the authors of social studies. He said that communication channels is based on three things: picture, how you look, voice, how you speak, and word, what you say. So most thing is important in our life is the way we look. And believe me, sometimes the way we look is more important than the way we speak, especially if you are in an interview and there are two people are wearing, one is wearing better than the others. Probably the one who wear better could have the job, instead of the others, unfortunately. So first impressions are often formed within first 90 seconds. Most people fail because of what they say, but because of how they present themselves. Examples in the interview or with the others: lack of eye contact, weak posture, and inappropriate dress sometimes. As I said, clothing alone becomes the deciding factor in interviews. Effective communication should always be in 7 C's. That is called clear, concise, concrete, coherent, complete, and correct and courteous. They're not optional, they are essential. Stephen Covey says the biggest problem is that in communication is that we don't listen to understand, but we listen to reply. Think about that. Most communication failures are not because most people cannot speak, but because they don't listen carefully. This creates misunderstanding, conflict, missed opportunities, and poor decision making. So now we arrive to the core question: how do we achieve success? Success is not luck. Success is not coincidence. Success is the result of productivity, intentional communication, and continuous self-development. So I'm going to highlight in the next slides about the general ideas of personality styles and listening skills. Why? Because communication is not about talking. It's about being understood. Now we agree that communication is about being understood, not just only being speaking. So we need to address the important truth. Not everyone speaks and communicates the same way. One of the biggest mistakes we make is that we assume that people think and process information the same we do, but the reality, they don't. Effective communication begins when you try to adapt with others, not when you insist on others. So we have types of 4 personalities skills. So personality styles in communication are mostly relies on 4 types: influential, steady, dominant, and consciousness. In communication, we often deal with a person who is accepting and warm. So these people focus on relationships, value harmony, and supporting and empathetic. If you rush them or ignore their feelings, communication fails. And that's sometimes relies mostly on females. The other personality is questioning and skeptical. This individual value logic, ask why frequently, and they say mostly people who are engineers. And the third style, or personality style, is fast and outspoken. These are energetic, decisive, and action-oriented. With them, long explanation frustrates them. They need quick answers and explanation. And fourth, cautious and reflective. People are calm, and they prefer time to think, and they love step-by-step explanation. Now, here's the key points here. Why do we want to understand these personality styles? Simple, because there is no wrong personality style. The problem occurs when we try to use one communication style for everyone. People differ. Productive communication, don't just speak, it's also read the people personality and trying to read the whole room. So let me ask you something. When someone is speaking to you, are you truly listening or just preparing to reply to them? It's a rhetorical question, so you don't need to answer, but ask yourself this question. Most people listen to respond, but very few people listen to understand what the other want. But real productivity begins with listening. So there are many types of listening here, but I'm going to focus on the important one in our daily life, in our work, in our university, which is active listening. Active listening requires full attention, eye contact, and appropriate responses to clarify your ideas. It means resisting the urge to interrupt. It means silence can be powerful. So let's try to connect this with productivity. Poor communication wastes time, effort. However, on the other hand, clear communication reduces rework, accelerates decision-making, and improves, definitely, outcomes. So always consider this. Productivity is not only speed. One of the most underrated skills is the initiative to communicate with others. Don't wait until you misunderstood. Don't assume people they should know what's inside your minds. Great communicators clarify early, ask questions, they tend to confirm understanding. Silence is not always professionalism, clarity is. So at this point, I invite you to reflect on your mind. Who do you communicate with daily? What personality styles do they have? Do you adapt? Do you repeat yourself? Do you try to interrupt? Do you try to listen carefully with others? Awareness is the first step to mastery. That's a picture that tells itself. So one of the most important lessons is productivity and in communication is knowing how to speak and when to speak and just when to stop speaking. Some people are not listening to understand, but they defend what they already believe. So I'm going to tell you a short story which most Saudi know. Two people saw an animal on top of a mountain. One of them believed it was a falcon, and the other believed it was a goat. So finally, the animal flies. So the second who believed it was a goat, he says, yeah, it's a goat even if it flies. So this is the most common proverb in our country, "Anz walau tarat." So I'm going to close with this. You don't need to change who you are. You need to refine and how to communicate. Success doesn't belong to the loudest voice. Success belongs to the clearest message. I will leave you with this thought. Every conversation is an opportunity. Every interaction is a message. Every word has weight. Choose them wisely. And I urge you, if you have time, to watch these beautiful two movies during your weekend. It can ignite the light and the motivation inside you to achieve happiness and success. Thank you for your attention, your engagement, and your presence today, with my sincere wishes for your success in the future. Thank you.